Two rising stars from Chicago's drill scene were killed in a chilling drive-by shooting, and now, new footage shows the moments before their deaths and the shooters openly talking about the bodies. You will not believe what the streets are hiding. Muna Duke and Youngin were more than rappers. They were family, friends, and voices of the streets. But in a single night, their lives were taken. What really happened that night in Chicago? The truth is shocking. Revenge, betrayal, and a deadly drive-by. Chicago's streets have spoken again. Muna Duke and Youngin are gone, but the questions remain. Who did this and why? The answers will leave you stunned. Gunshots echoing in Chicago, two rappers dead, and a city asking why. This is not just another story. It is the brutal reality of the drill scene, and the footage you are about to see will change how you look at it forever. King Von's affiliates, O-Block's Muna Duke and Youngin, were shot and killed in Chicago, and the streets have been buzzing nonstop since. Now, a new clip from the scene has emerged, showing a glimpse of their final moments, and it is chilling. Even more shocking, the shooters are caught on camera openly talking about the bodies. Let me break it down. The deaths of Muna Duke and O-Block Youngin have hit Chicago hard. These were not random victims. Both were important members of the O-Block crew, which has already been losing too many people. On the early morning of May 10, 2025, in Edgewater, Chicago, both Duke and Youngin were shot around 1:20 a.m. on the 6300 block of North Broadway. Witnesses say it was a planned attack. This was no accident. Everything about the scene points to a carefully planned revenge-style hit, and the local rap community is still reeling from the news. Muna Duke, 31, and Youngin, also known as Young Frem Jets, believed to be between 26 and 28, were both pronounced dead at the scene, leaving friends, family, and fans in deep shock. The level of violence displayed that night was intense, with the shooters firing indiscriminately, leaving dozens of shell casings scattered across the area, marking the spot with the unmistakable signs of a brutal attack. Witnesses describe a chaotic and terrifying scene, with the sound of gunfire echoing through the neighborhood and people running for safety. The attack was precise, showing that this was not a random act, but rather a hit meant to send a message. The intensity and the planning behind the shooting have left many in the community questioning who could carry out such a brazen act and what the motive might have been. A third person, a 36-year-old man, was also shot during the attack, but was fortunate enough to survive. He was rushed to Evanston Hospital, where he is now reported to be in fair condition. Even so, the emotional and physical toll of surviving such a violent incident cannot be overstated. For every life taken, the ripple effects are felt by families, friends, and the broader community, leaving a lasting impact that goes beyond the immediate victims. The deaths of Duke and Youngin highlight the ongoing cycle of violence that has plagued the drill rap scene and the neighborhoods that nurture it. Both men were deeply connected to the legacy of Chicago's streets, and their loss is a harsh reminder of how quickly ambition and talent can be overshadowed by tragedy. The community mourns not just their deaths, but the unending pattern of retaliation that continues to claim lives, leaving fans and fellow artists questioning what could have been and whether peace can ever take hold in these streets. For those unfamiliar, Muna Duke was more than just a rapper. He was deeply tied to O-Block's legacy and had strong connections with influential figures in the scene. In an old clip, Duke reflected on the death of King Von, showing how close these communities were, even inside jail. Everyone felt the impact. Duke was also making waves musically with tracks like 12 a.m. and had big plans in the industry. Beyond music, he treated King Von like family, which makes his death hit even harder. Adding to the heartbreak, Duke had a child with Fat Banks, who was connected to Lil Durk's late brother, D-Tang. Chicago's drill scene is tightly woven, with artists connected through family ties and street loyalty. Duke's death is another tragic example of how violence continues to take young lives, even as some try to leave the streets behind. He had recently been posting photos in Muslim attire, showing he wanted a better path, but the streets pulled him back. Youngin, meanwhile, was a rising star in the drill scene, known for raw, authentic tracks that reflected life in O-Block. Like Duke, he was close to King Von, which makes this loss hit even harder. The O'Block family tree keeps losing branches, one by one, to the very streets that shaped them. Reports indicate this was a drive-by shooting carried out in a stolen Infiniti Q50. The vehicle was later found burned on the 600 block of East 134th Place, a clear effort to erase evidence and send a strong message. There are also rumors of internal beef within O'Block that may have contributed to the attack. This tragic event shows, once again, how dangerous and unforgiving the streets can be even for those trying to rise above it. When talking about Memo 600, Muna Duke didn't take him seriously at all. He said, "You got to know him, man. I have been around long enough to know people like him. He could never step foot on my block." At one point, Memo 600 could come around, even shooting a video there, but times changed, and so did the vibe. Muna Duke even addressed it directly on Instagram, saying to speak openly instead of dropping subliminal posts. He made it clear he was ready to settle things in person if needed. The way he spoke shows the intensity and tension in these streets, especially after the recent killings. The news of Muna Duke and Youngin's deaths sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Tributes poured in from artists across the country. Memphis rapper Big 30 posted on his IG story that day, and Asian Doll, who was close to King Von, also shared her love and grief online. These reactions highlight how tight-knit the rap world is, especially when it comes to those who come up together. But the most emotional response came from Fat Banks, the mother of Muna Duke's child. On Instagram, she wrote, "You was the light to my darkness. I love you so much, baby. You know I was 10 toes no matter what." Her words show that behind the music, there are families left to grieve and pick up the pieces. Mothers, children, and close friends are now forced to navigate life without their loved ones. As for why this happened, in Chicago's drill scene, nothing is random. The shootings are believed to be connected to gang tensions, possibly between Tuckville and Smashville. These beefs often go back generations and can erupt over the smallest slight. Some speculate it could even be linked to revenge for FBG Duck's murder in August 2020, though nothing is confirmed. FBG Duck was killed during the ongoing conflict between his set STL EBT, linked to GDS, and O'Block, linked to BDS. The killings show that in these streets, old deaths do not disappear. Revenge can come years later. As of May 12, 2025, no arrests had been made, and the Chicago Police Department is still investigating. Like many cases in the city, there is a lingering question. Will justice ever come, or is this just another unsolved murder in a city plagued by gun violence? O'Block, located at 64th Street and Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, is a neighborhood known for its heavy BDS ties. It is also a central hub for drill rap, where artists often mix real-life street experiences with their music. This connection between art and reality can be dangerous. Being real in lyrics sometimes paints a target on your back. Muna Duke's story shows this clearly. He was trying to leave the streets behind, focusing on building a legitimate future, but his past as an enforcer in Chicago haunted him. As they say, you can leave the game, but the game does not leave you. The deaths of Muna Duke and Youngin are not isolated incidents. They are part of a troubling pattern that has claimed the lives of Chicago rappers for years, from Lil Jojo to FBG Duck, LA Capone, and King Von. Each death is connected, part of a cycle of loyalty, revenge, and street politics. Understanding their connection to King Von and the ongoing violence shows that these tragedies are chapters in a larger story that continues to unfold in real time. To understand what went down on May 10, 2025, you have to go back and see how King Von's death set the stage for everything after. For those who are not familiar, here's the story. On November 6, 2020, around 2:15 a.m., King Von was caught in a deadly shooting outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. This was not random. It started as a dispute between Von's crew and Quando Rondo's people. What began as a fight quickly turned into gunfire, leaving multiple people shot. King Von, just 26 years old, was hit multiple times and later died in the hospital. In total, 3 people died that night and 6 others were wounded. Surveillance footage captured the violence, which spread across the internet, showing just how intense the situation was. To get why Von was such a big figure, You have to hear what he said about his legal troubles before he blew up. He was open about his past and how he overcame serious charges, even jail time for 2 murder attempts. Vaughn kept it real about beating those cases, showing the toughness and resilience that made him respected in the streets and music world. The man who allegedly pulled the trigger was Timothy Lil Tim, leaks from Quando Rondo's crew. Ironically, Lil Tim claimed he didn't even know who Vaughn was when he started shooting. He said he did not know whether Vaughn was alive or dead at the time. During the shooting, his gun jammed after multiple shots. Initially charged with Vaughn's murder, Lil Tim had the charges dropped in August 2023 under Georgia's Stand Your Ground law, which caused outrage among Vaughn's supporters. This is where the connection to Muna Duke and Youngin comes in. As members of O Block and close associates of Vaughn, they inherited the ongoing beef from his death. In the drill world, loyalty does not end when someone dies. If anything, it grows stronger, driving revenge for fallen friends. Vaughn himself explained how his reputation shifted once he started gaining fame in music while still navigating street life. Being known in Atlanta was different from being known in Chicago, where past conflicts follow you everywhere. The ripple effects of Vaughn's death continued for years. In October 2024, Lil Durk, close to Vaughn, faced federal charges including conspiracy to commit murder for hire, allegedly tied to payback for Vaughn's death. This plot reportedly led to the killing of Quando Rondo's cousin in August 2022, showing how revenge can stretch over years, affecting more lives. All these deaths reveal how drill beef works. It is not just individual fights, it is long-standing conflicts that keep pulling in new people, like a chain reaction. When one person falls, the tension spreads, triggering more violence. The cycle is predictable yet tragic. When Vaughn was killed, many expected retaliation. Now, after Muna Duke and Youngin's deaths, the same questions loom. Who will be next, and will the cycle continue? The fact that both Duke and Youngin were from O Block makes their deaths even more meaningful. O Block, named after fallen member O.D. Perry, is both a real neighborhood and a symbol in drill lore. It has produced stars like Chief Keef and King Von, but it has also seen immense tragedy, with too many of its members lost to violence or locked up. The very streets that gave these artists their identity and inspired their music have also, in many cases, sealed their fate. Take Muna Duke's story as an example. He was trying to navigate dangerous territory. On one side, he wanted to leave the streets behind, focus on his music, and build a life with his family. On the other, his deep ties to O Block and his street past made him a constant target. In the drill world, your history never truly leaves you. It follows you no matter where you go or how hard you try to change. King Von himself spoke about this struggle. Even as his music career took off, his street reputation remained, especially in Chicago. He explained the difference between being in Atlanta versus Chicago jails. In Atlanta, people mainly knew him as a rapper. In Chicago, his street life preceded him. Many drill artists face this dual identity, and for some, separating their music persona from their street reputation is nearly impossible. This does not mean every drill rapper is destined for violence. Many have successfully left the streets behind, building music careers and lives beyond the drama. But for those tied to ongoing beefs, the danger is real. The deaths of Muna Duke and Youngin are stark reminders of this reality, one that continues to claim lives in Chicago and other cities. As we process these tragedies, it is worth asking if the cycle can ever be broken. Could reconciliation replace retaliation? Can the energy behind these conflicts be used for something positive? Or is the drill scene trapped in a pattern where each generation inherits the disputes of the last? There are no easy answers, but these questions are critical as we consider the future of drill music and the communities that produce it. In the meantime, we mourn Duke and Youngin, adding their names to a growing list of talented young men whose potential was cut short by the very streets that shaped them. The aftermath of King Von's death shows how tragic and complicated these events can be. When violent deaths happen in the spotlight, there is often morbid curiosity. People want to see what occurred, sometimes forgetting the human cost behind the footage. In today's digital world, that curiosity is easily satisfied, often too easily. For King Von, Surveillance footage captured the moment he was fatally shot outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. The video, showing the violent altercation, spread widely online and was shared by major outlets like the Daily Mail. It was a disturbing, unfiltered look at how quickly life can be taken. The circulation of such footage raises tough questions about how we process tragedy. It provides undeniable evidence of the violence plaguing certain communities, but it can also desensitize viewers, turning real human loss into spectacle. For families, it adds another layer of trauma, knowing that video of their loved one's final moments is being passed around for strangers to watch. King Von's death didn't just affect him. The shooting left 3 dead and 6 wounded. According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, one of those killed was his manager, who reportedly was shot by police after drawing a weapon in response to the initial gunfire. These events show that the impact of such violence ripples far beyond the initial incident, leaving lasting scars on families and communities alike. Deaths of Muna Duke and Youngin follow a similar pattern. Their drive-by shooting also injured a 3rd man who survived, but even when people escape with their lives, the ripple effects remain. Families are torn apart, survivors carry lasting trauma, and communities struggle to cope with the aftermath. These killings are especially significant because of their connection to King Von's legacy. As members of O Block and close to Von, Muna Duke and Youngin carried his influence forward. Their deaths add to the ongoing story of loss and retaliation in O Block, a neighborhood known both for producing talent and for fueling conflict. As of May 12, 2025, no arrests have been made, and the Chicago Police Department is still investigating. Will this be another unsolved case, another set of names added to the city's long list of victims? Or will there be closure through the legal system or street justice? These questions hang over the drill community, which continues to mourn its fallen members. Tributes poured in for Duke and Youngin, reflecting how tightly connected this world is, where bonds run deep, shaped by shared struggle and lived experience. Muna Duke's story illustrates the harsh contradictions of the drill scene. Even as he tried to leave the streets behind, his past as an enforcer followed him. In a world where respect is everything and perceived disrespect can be deadly, leaving the game is never simple. Nearly 5 years after King Von's death, Duke and Youngin's killings show that street conflicts don't expire, they simmer, waiting for the right moment to erupt. Disturbing footage from these events serves as a grim reminder of the real consequences of these ongoing cycles of violence. As we watch and read about these tragedies, it is worth asking what role we play as consumers of this content. Are we just passive observers, or can we engage more deeply with the issues behind the violence? Can we move beyond shock value to confront the poverty, inequality, and limited opportunities that fuel it? The drill scene continues to captivate audiences worldwide, but behind the music, fame, and money is a reality of loss, grief, and constant danger. No level of success can fully protect these artists from the risks they face. As fans and observers, we owe it to the fallen to acknowledge their talents while understanding the complicated circumstances that shaped their lives and deaths. Only by confronting these realities can we hope for a future where the next generation of artists from places like O Block can chase their dreams without paying the ultimate price. What are your thoughts on the deaths of King Von's affiliates? Share in the comments and check the cards on screen for more untold stories.